So one of my favorite set pieces in this game is where Farah Karim breaks out of the Russian prison along with her sisters in arms.
The spoon.
I love this scene because it shows these Orzik women as badass kind of characters who can take on the Russians. It's a nice window onto the gender politics, the way that the relations between men and women are shown in this game. On the one hand, this one scene is the scene where women are most represented, right? So it's the longest set piece in the game that primarily features presumably Muslim female characters. But then on the other hand, nothing about them is Muslim in particular, right? And it makes sense. They're prisoners, their heads have been shaved and so on. They're not even speaking Arabic in this scene, which is interesting. They're just speaking accented English.
Right.
Sisters, whatever. But then there are other scenes where there's more of a visible marker of Muslimness. Right, and I think there's two separate ones, and it's the contrast between these two is interesting. On the one hand, you have the Urzik rebels, and Farah Karim is the commander of these Urzik rebels, right? They're the ones who are fighting for liberation from the Russian occupation. If you look at their garb, they look a lot like YPJ fighters. Now, several things are interesting about the YPJ. One is, so Farah is a nice kind of aesthetic representation of the YPJ. She's wearing something that looks like a headscarf, but it's not really. So it's more of a Kurdish headdress. And she is unmistakably a positive character. Farah Karim is a freedom fighter. She has a moral center. Right, there's no way that she's going to engage in terrorism. In fact, she confronts others within her group that want to engage in terroristic activity in the sense of attacking civilians and so on.
Save yourself, daughter. Join us.
I am not your child, old man. I lead soldiers. You train killers.
You have other characters who are unmistakably Muslim women who are wearing headscarves, right? But the place where they are encountered is essentially in the company of the Al-Qatala. Right. So you see them most prominently in this compound that you're supposed to raid in search of one of the leaders of Al-Qatala. And these women, some of them are wearing headscarves, and basically what you're supposed to take away from this is that they are the wives, the sisters, the mothers, perhaps, of the Al-Qatala fighters. So you have this dichotomy, basically, that is not explicitly stated, but it's presented visually, right? On the one hand, you have the good Muslim characters who look like Kurdish YPJ fighters, and then you have the bad ones, or at least the morally ambiguous Muslim women who look like the Muslim women that you see on TV, right? They're the ones with the headscarves. They're either the people who are helping Al-Qatala or they're the victims of Al-Qatala.
Right.
Perhaps.
So it's important to this game that you know these are Muslim women. You can't shoot them unless they shoot you. They often shoot you either because they are true believers in Al-Qatala or they're defending themselves and their children. Sometimes you see them with children.
Don't you please?
Clear. Oh, fucking hell. She was going for a bloody detonator.
Good job we dropped it in.
We made the right call, sir.
I'll bet your ass.
Even though you're attacking them and you're supposed to shoot them if they're shooting at you, right? There's also a way that they can be persuaded. So when Captain Price talks to one of these women, he tells his one of the officers, one of the soldiers, to release a child, right, that they've captured. They release the child, and then he speaks Arabic to the woman and asks her, "Ween ad-Dib," or something like this, right?
وين الديب؟
برفض العادة تحت الأرض.
شكرا. Welcome down.
So there is a way in which these women are also in an ambiguous space where they can potentially be helpers.
Right.
Right, for the good guys.
Right. Or pawns in the good guy's hands as when the family is held hostage to extract information. And you see this especially with the butcher, where after he's captured, he's brought into a room and his family, his wife and child, are also brought in there, and you as a interrogator use them to extract a confession from him. And it's a scene that is kind of disturbing, and again, you suggest that you are going to harm the child, but of course the game doesn't let you do it. Eventually, once you have your information, the woman and the child are taken out of the room, and the butcher, who is a really bad guy, confesses.
What are you going to do to us?
Hey, no.
Please,
Hey,
we are not
stop,
important.
stop. They know nothing about this.